It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning, TGIF. I'm Philip Simon.
And of course, it is always a pleasure to be in your company. We're so happy that we made it through another week and that we get to be back here with you. Phil, how was the week for you?
Fast. I was just sitting here thinking, my goodness, it's another week down. We're at the end of October, into November, but yet the more things change, the more they seem to remain the same, huh?
Isn't that something? Certainly 2020 has been the year to do it. Phil, I actually was thinking about it this morning. I remember it was early in January. You and I were doing the show. I'd gone upstairs in studio because, of course, we've been home for these last few months. We were in studio at the time. And I remember pulling up my cell phone and an article coming across the screen talking about the fact that this virus had been reported to the World Health Organization in China. And I remember coming back down to mid-show and showing it to you and saying, oh, look, Phil, like something's happening in China. And you know, at that time, there was just no sort of connection to me even then of what the ramifications of that would be. And so, yes, Phil, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's amazing that the year has flown by so quickly and yet seems so long. And so, yeah, I think a lot of us are just standing in the paradoxes of what 2020 has meant for all of us. But yeah, certainly things changing, staying the same.
You know, I think I remember that because it was right around the time, I think Kobe Bryant and his daughter and those families would have, lost their lives in that helicopter crash on a Sunday. And I think on the Monday, and it was just, I think that headline got consumed by the Kobe headline. And even for a couple of weeks as it grew. And then, of course, we know what happened in the end of February, beginning of March. And by the 11th of March, right around my birthday, things were just completely out of control. But speaking of birthdays, our good friend Marcus Lang has a birthday today. Jamie Nixon, Rotarian, she had a birthday yesterday. My cousin, Miranda Lightborn, is going to be having a birthday on the 1st. And Ava Strawn has a birthday also on the 1st. So happy birthday, guys.
Happy birthday to all of you, my fellow Scorpios. I celebrate on the 16th. Was hoping that I would be able to at least go to dinner, but it doesn't seem so based on the regulations from the competent authority, who would have had a conversation with the public on Wednesday past. And so that's okay. I think this is the year that we've had to kind of buckle down, make adjustments, take a look at how we do our celebrations, not who's important, but who is most critical to be in our spaces. And certainly it's beginning to shift the way that we look at even just mass groups of people. I know for me, even as I watch movies or TV shows that would have been filmed prior to COVID, and you see these like large groups in my mind, I'm already thinking, why are so many of them in one place?
It's definitely a cultural shift, man. Even my kids, they're tired now. They're tired of the online thing, the virtual thing. They miss their friends. Who would have thought, right? I imagine by the time things get back to this new normal and they're back in school, they'll want to be back home again.
Probably. I do want to say though that as parents, we have to be cognizant of the fact that our kids are going through change just as we are. And obviously we have the spaces where we can talk about how we're feeling, how irritated we might be, how tired we might be. They're not always given that opportunity. And sometimes their feelings are dismissed as not qualifying because they don't have the same sort of stresses that we do. But our kids are going through a lot. This has been a major transition for them without sometimes the knowledge that we have because we can read the paper and listen to the news and kind of interpret things differently. But I know that my 3-year-old is having a time herself. She's she's starting to talk to the lotion bottles and the papers and the pencils because she misses friends and she really wants to play. But, you know, everybody's just doing the best that they can given the circumstances.
No doubt about it. Just one final thing. So you know, when the debate was happening, was it last week? I guess it was last week with the Joe Biden and President Trump. And so the following morning, Kaylee comes down and you know, she's talking about it, and I'm like, "Did you watch the debate?" You know, because it's like 10 o'clock at night, and she's like, "Duh." So of course I did. So we were up with my friends. We were watching it. I'm like, "Where'd you watch it?" Because, you know, I know the television is downstairs, and like, we're watching it on YouTube. We're having a debate, and she was just going back and forth about everything they were talking about. And I'm like, man, these kids are like tuned in. You know, as 14-year-olds, I mean, they are paying attention to what's happening in the world. But of course, digitally, what else is there to do? Yeah.
Indeed. But listen, it's been a great week of conversations. We certainly had an awesome time at the Exuma Business Outlook yesterday. So thank you to everyone that attended that session. If you missed it, you missed something great, but we're doing the best that we can to make sure that you still have access to it. So much like Phil's daughter, Kaylee, was able to watch those debates online. You can check out everything that happened with the Exuma Business Outlook webinar via our Facebook page. So just go to Bahamas Business Outlook Facebook page, and you can stay tuned in for when they make those updates. Now, the Long Island Business Outlook is coming up on November 12th. So that's only about 2 weeks away. We do want you to get registered. And of course, you can always look for more information at tcoutevents.com.
Yeah, those events have been excellent. But of course, so are these shows called Bahamas at Sunrise. We've got another great one lined up for you today. The financial secretary, the man himself, Marlon Johnson, is here to talk about those recommendations made in the Economic Recovery Committee's summary report. Hubert Edwards is back, you know, our in-house leadership expert, but he's going to be sharing his new book of poetry, Star.
Excellent. Very proud of Hubert Edwards. He continues to push the bar as a host, speaker, author, and thought leader. So that should be a great conversation. Alive is also going to join us today. We're talking about their prepaid plans and what they're offering as other deals headed our way in November. And Alive always comes through in November, just in time for Christmas. So we want to make sure that you are here for that. And the Bahamas Basketball Federation is here. They're going to be talking about the FIBA America qualifiers that are coming up next month. So all of that is going to be happening. Phil's still trying to get the shot in.
Those days are gone.
You said it, not me. But before we get to any of the good stuff that we've got lined up for you, we're going to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star, and good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather at Sunrise, high pressure ridge will slide eastward. That'll make way for a frontal boundary to approach the extreme northwest parts, Grand Bahama, Albuquerque, Dominique by tonight, with increasing cloudiness and showers. As the tropical wave, its northern axis moves across the southeast Bahamas, that will generate some showers and thunderstorms for the southeast islands over the next couple of days. We do expect a second front to move here sometime on Monday. Today, though, partly sunny, hot and humid, the chance of a few showers over the northwest and central islands, with variable cloudiness with showers and thunderstorms over the southeastern islands, high temperature reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with chance of a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm popping up, below going down to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And some regional highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados, 82 and 80. In Jamaica, 83 and 72. In Trinidad, 85 and 78. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 89 and 77. Across North America, Atlanta, 61 and 49. In Raleigh, 70 and 51. In Miami, 89 and 78. Dallas, Texas, 62 and 41. And Toronto, Canada, 40 and 31. Friday weather look, with increasing clouds across the islands, partly cloudy on Saturday, variable clouds on Sunday, mix of sun on Monday. We do have some showers and thunderstorms possible, mainly late Saturday into Sunday as that frontal boundary stalls across the northwest Bahamas. Expect some increasing winds starting on Sunday across the islands, and that'll bring about some hazardous boating conditions for early next week. The temperature daytime will be in the upper 80s, at nighttime in the mid-70s. That's what's wrapping your first look of weather at Sunrise. I'm Dr. Burnside. Back to you, Phil.
Thank you very much, Godfrey. Listen, the government-appointed Economic Recovery Committee made some 163 recommendations on a wide range of subject areas to spur our economic recovery and promote economic health in the country. Joining us now is the co-chair of the ERC and acting financial secretary. I always smile when we say acting financial secretary because there's nothing acting about that position and there's nothing acting about Marlon Johnson. My brother, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Philip.
Marlon, what makes this just not another one of those reporting things that we tend to do, not just in the Bahamas, but in Caribbean countries, maybe even around the world? You know, it was several months of a lot of intensive work. What's going to make this different than what we've done in the past, and why is it so important right now?
Well, from our perspective, I think one of the things we've been very proud of is just the consultation that informed this report. You know, this report was informed because it was just only the views of the membership, but it represented the views of over 60 different entities, private and civil society entities that we engaged. And of course, we have over 300 submissions sent to us via email, and we had a series of town meetings. So all of that informed this particular report. What I hope will separate it is the Prime Minister's commitment that it will not stand on the shelf and will be executed. That's, of course, in the hands of the Cabinet and the Directorate. So it is our hope too that the recommendations that the government think are worthwhile are actually put in play, and that is what will separate this from the reports that have come before.
I mean, listen, I kind of breezed through it. It's a live document. It's a living document. I would imagine that if it's going to be active, it doesn't set and change. The cement won't get hard. But speaking of some of these short-term solutions, I mean, it's just straight across the board, man. So many different topics from the sovereign wealth front to cannabis, which has been making the news. But speak to some of the short-term solutions, because that's the era that we're in right now that can have a high economic impact potentially.
Right. So back in August, we recognizing that there are things that we believe needed to happen quickly, even before we submitted the executive summary report. We gave government some of our ideas as to what the things that needed to happen now. And, you know, some of them are really, really simple. But it takes some will. So, for example, one of the things we said is that there's any number of projects in the pipeline somewhere in some government agency. There needed to be a concerted effort to really coordinate, put all of them together into a single matrix and get them executed. So wherever, you know, they're sitting on Marlon's desk in the Ministry of Finance, you know, let's get it moved. If there's in some other agency awaiting some approval, let's get it moved. And that may seem very simple and obvious, but because of the way governments work and silos that are created, sometimes nobody really knows what's in the pipeline. So a single view. And the reason for that is that once you get these projects going, you get contractors engaged, you get people employed, you get them buying things, so you help to accelerate the pace of reform. So that was one of the immediate things that we thought was necessary. And we also encourage the government, to the extent possible, to keep these infrastructure projects going. The small ones, like the infamous sidewalks, and then all the refurbishments, and the larger ones, because what we really wanted to emphasize was those are the things that keep people employed, keep contractors engaged, and keep the economy going through this particular low point.
Yeah, I mean, and you spoke, of course, to the spin-off effects of projects like that. I won't get into a debate on all of that, but you did mention just now, obviously Ken Kerr was the co-chair of this, but we're talking about the PPP, the importance of this public-private partnership to not only fund development, but to help obviously continue to push this and keep it at the forefront so that it remains active, correct?
Absolutely. You know, the major themes of our project is really around how do you create a dynamic and sustainable economy. The truth is, Philip, a lot of people it's hard for us to accept that there's very little that our government or any government could do well in the middle of a pandemic. People want a magic bullet. They want to say, okay, find some idea that's going to get the economy back. That isn't true here. It isn't true anywhere. This will take time for us to get back. But the PPPs in the medium term recognize that we as a country have about a $2 billion deficit in our infrastructure. That's the roads, the bridges, the docks, the airports that need to be rebuilt and refurbished. So what we have suggested in the document is that really embracing PPPs through a sovereign wealth fund and infrastructure fund can mobilize private sector resources to these public goods and get the private sector involved in whether it's building new government buildings, whether it's building airports, docks, bridges. These are things that can be monetized and generate revenue. And and the only way we're going to help accelerate our economic performance is to get private sector involved, working in tandem with the government, including which I thought was a really good idea that emerged from one of our subcommittees, this National Digital Marketplace. It's a really good example of a potential public-private partnership where the government doesn't have to build the infrastructure. You've got a private sector to do it with the government's support.
And then, of course, it ties right into some of the things the central bank is doing right now with sand dollar, right?
Absolutely. And of course, that's the other big thing. There's a number of recommendations in the report around digitization. So, and that really ties back into our central bank. It was the first actual central bank in the whole world to fully launch a nationwide digital currency. It's still in its infancy. They're still onboarding companies, but if we're able to do that successfully, we open so much doors for commerce. We open so much doors for people to be able to engage in a secure way. So that sand dollar, the electronic wallets that run this, and our private sector and our government embracing these kind of technologies is what can really be a differentiator for the country going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about, obviously these are short-term solutions, and I encourage everybody, if they haven't, they can certainly download it and view the report, of course. Short-term solutions, obviously you have to tie into some medium to longer term things. It always goes back to education. So, what kind of national skills development, education and training do you think is gonna be needed to put us on this new road to, I guess, a shift, a new norm? And then, of course, we talk about, a shift from being in just solely, well, not solely, but predominantly an import-oriented society. Marlon, just so many different opportunities. I see there's opportunities, not necessarily challenges.
No, you're right. I think, so there's a lot of unpacking that comment as you say that. But so let's take one, for example, agriculture and fisheries. But the point that the ERC made was that we have to move past this being just an ambition of a successive government. When we were little kids, we've been hearing about this diversify. We got from an ambition to a true objective. And the only way you do that is to really set some targets. And we think about what are the things we are going to grow. So we can't grow everything in the Bahamas. Something like rice, for example, we can't grow efficiently. But there are things that we can grow relatively easily. Let's focus in on a basket of those goods. A basket of livestock can be chicken and pork, for example. What makes sense in the Bahamian setting. And what fishery stocks are we going to focus on? Focus our energies on that. Set a target to say, listen, at least 10% of our GDP will be comprised of the agriculture fisheries sector. That moves us from a $150 million industry to a $1.2 billion industry. And it moves us to getting 25 to 30% of our calorie intake from foods we grow here. It's doable, it's achievable, but it takes that focus. So those kinds of things we really wanted to push forward to set some shift in focus and some really target setting and monitoring and doing it very transparently can move us a great deal forward.
I tell you, Marlon, again, even myself, I've got a million more questions. I'm sure the persons who are viewing and those who would have heard, because obviously you've been doing the rounds in the public arena as well. Is there still an opportunity for persons to contribute to this report or to contribute to this process? If so, how can they do it and where can people find information?
So to download, so a couple of things. We're still finalizing the full committee reports. So over the coming weeks, we will be releasing each of the full subcommittee reports so persons can see the full 600 pages that inform the 60-page document that we have. If you want to get it, you can go to opm.gov.bs. That's the Prime Minister's website, opm.gov.bs, and you can download the summary report and read it for yourself. And if you still want to give us ideas, we're welcome to have them. It's at erc@bahamas.gov.bs. That's erc@bahamas.gov.bs. Please send us your feedback. As you said, this is a living document. Everybody had good ideas. And the Prime Minister will be making an announcement around execution. So if you believe you have something to contribute in the execution of the recommendations the government take forward, please let us know.
All right. Thank you, Marlon. Always a pleasure. If we are having Christmas this year, man, I see you're well on your way. I might have to call you for my kids and walk around.
That's just one thing when you're working from home, you can let it all go, So I'm doing the old man thing while I'm sitting at home.
All right, man. Listen, there you have it. Marlon Johnson, co-chair of the ERC, acting financial secretary in the Ministry of Finance. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
First, It's more than just our name, more than just our achievements. It's our nature, and it's where we put our customers. At Bahamas First, we've refreshed our look, but our nature remains the same. We design insurance solutions that protect our customers from life's uncertainties, whatever they may be. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. Bahamas First, what's first for you comes first for us.
The COVID-19 pandemic demands the most modern techniques and highest standards of sanitizing to ensure the safety of schools, businesses, churches, and of the ones we love. Treeline Divine Professional Sanitizers offers state-of-the-art electrostatic technology, providing maximum efficiency and coverage to protect your environment and preserve your health against mold and 99% of bacteria and viruses, including COVID-19. With pricing to match your budget and standards to meet your highest expectations, we invite you to contact us for a free analysis of your weekly, monthly, or single-use needs. COVID-19's impact is strong, but our commitment to restoring your safety is even stronger. Treeline Divine Sanitizing. Spread confidence.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you so much for staying with us. Well, one thing that the Alive Network has proven to us is that they are with us in times of hardship, and certainly going through COVID-19 has been no different. This morning, we're very happy to welcome Kieran Chase. He's the Senior Product Development Officer with Alive, and he's going to be talking to us about some of the services that they have for you. Kieran, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you with us and, of course, to learn more about what you're offering around this time. I want to get right into the questions. I've been hearing a lot of people talk about your services throughout the pandemic, especially now that so many people are at home, so many people are using data at the same time. What is the difference between prepaid and postpaid?
So the difference between prepaid and postpaid simply is you don't have a bill when you choose to go prepaid. You can kind of, purchase your plans week to week, month to month, try plans here and there if you so choose. Or if your spending habits change, which we've seen, you're able to, go week to another plan. And then, after that, move around and bounce around however you like.
So with postpaid, is there a big difference in terms of what your bill could be expected? Could you kind of run me through that? Because I really am trying to consider. I have a prepaid plan now, but I'm thinking about moving to postpaid.
Yep.
How does that kind of work differently?
So postpaid gives you the ease of, you just sign your contract and, you don't worry about it. You're billed monthly. Of course, you get nice phone deals that are more attractive. That come with postpaid contracts. And then, it's just a pleasure to notify you guys that just yesterday, we introduced a new Liberty Prime plan. So for $75 or more, it also comes with roaming. So if anything, that would be the huge draw right now with postpaid plans.
All right. Liberty Prime. And you get with that, so that people are traveling abroad, they get to in this season make sure that they're still connected.
Absolutely, keeping you connected all the time wherever you are.
Wonderful. Now let's also talk about your MiFi. Who needs it, and what are some of the plans associated with that device?
So everybody needs a MiFi, basically. What it does is, keep you outage proof. So if at any point you get disconnected from your main source, you're able to switch over to a MiFi hotspot, or you're able to use that as your primary source in terms of data. We know a lot of people are homeschooling right now. It's very, vital to utilize that to make sure you keep connected. There's no drop-offs, there's no lags, anything like that. So we have, a plethora of plans that you can choose from for MiFi. If you want more info on that, you can visit bealive.com.
All right. And now you did talk about one of the new prepaid plans was the Liberty Prime. But is there any additional prepaid plans that we should also know about?
Sorry, that was postpaid, which is the Liberty Prime. So moving on over to prepaid, the most recently introduced plan that we have in our treasure chest, if you will, is the Liberty 45 plan. So we have a highly touted Liberty 30 plan. It's actually our most popular 30-day prepaid plan and keeps you connected for $1 a day. We decided to do you one better, introduce the Liberty 45 plan, and instead of 3 gigs of data, you get double the data at 6 gigs, but we didn't double the price.
Wow, we are there winning, man. We getting 2 for the price of 1. You didn't double the price, but you did double the amount of gigs. And, you know, it really is important because especially if you're, as you would have indicated when we talked about the MiFi, moving around devices for kids or using data associated with homeschool, some of the files and engagements really do require a lot of data. So this really is a benefit for those that can't afford to necessarily pay more, but really do need more space available in terms of what they can do and how quickly they can do it online. So that's really exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to admit, I'm always partial to a live around this time of year because you guys are always doing something new and exciting. Is there anything new and exciting happening with the Maya Live app itself?
Yes. So, you know, I think you put it perfectly in terms of the current circumstances we're in, the need to stay safe, but also the need to stay connected. And that's where the Maya Live app comes into play in terms of the perfect solution that you can utilize to do that. So just from a functional perspective, of course, you're able to buy plans, you're able to check your balance at the drop of a dime, you're able to top yourself up or another subscriber in 2 minutes or less. And, you know, I think I've gotten the hang of it now, so I can do it all in like 1 minute.
I used it yesterday. So it's quite user-friendly.
Absolutely. And this month, we've been doing it and we're going to continue it into next month because the feedback is so great. If you're an Alive subscriber, but you've never used the app before, you enter to win a $50 grocery voucher. So again, it's finding opportunities to help you in multiple ways and give back during these times. So the feedback has been really great on that.
Okay, so that's a reminder to people. You don't have to go in store. You don't have to look for a store. If you download the app and you can do some of these things for yourself and you've never done it before, you also enter to win $50 in grocery. You can't beat that, man. Alive is really out there helping us to stay alive. All right, but as we kind of move into November, are there any special deals that we should be aware of? And are any of those deals specific to any of your locations?
Absolutely. So the sales team has done an excellent job of rolling out a full-fledged plan on how we're going to execute Black Friday to make sure everybody gets, you know, brand new devices in their hands that they can continue to, you know, enjoy the everything that comes with the Alive network. So please stay tuned, watch out for that. We're almost here as we're about to roll around into November. So there's going to be a lot of deals and surprises and giveaways for everyone.
All right, Kieran, we do have to leave, but before we do, you know, prior to the pandemic, you guys had several stores open. You were mobile. You had this awesome machine driving around town. What's happening now in terms of those stores where people may need to go in just to see someone in an emergency? Are there some stores that are open, some stores that are closed?
So our stores are open now, as well as the vans moving around Nassau. Just saw one yesterday on my way back home. But everyone is practicing, you know, the proper protocols. Of course, you know, we have to make sure, you know, we follow all the rules and abide by them. But yes, everything is accessible. You can go ahead, go to a store. You know, if you catch the van, you know, you can just go pull to the side, get whatever you need. And also you can go ahead and call our concierge service, which allows you to, you know, set up an appointment. You can purchase a device right from there with an Alive agent. So again, visit bealive.com for all the necessary information you would need to get that done.
Excellent. Well, Kieran, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise and sharing some of the great updates. I'm sure people were happy to learn about the new plans, both prepaid and postpaid, and they can, of course, find more information if they download that My Alive app. First time using it, they get to enter for that $50 gift certificate for groceries, so you can't beat that either. Thanks again for joining us this morning.
Thank you, too. It was a pleasure.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Doctors Hospital. As the Bahamas reopens, we at Doctors Hospital have been hard at work preparing for the new normal. The health and safety of our patients, associates, and others entering the hospital space is ever paramount and shapes the experience as you enter our facilities. All persons entering the hospital will be COVID screened, which includes a temperature check and a few short questions. There's also mandatory hand and shoe washing stations upon entry. Masks are required and can be provided if necessary. To further limit contact, Doctors Hospital has launched a concierge service that allows for pre-registration, a hospital itinerary, in-car waiting, and a navigator to guide you through your visit. Our pharmacy is now offering curbside pickup and delivery services for prescriptions as well. Social distancing markers are placed around the facility, and scheduling for imaging, including CAT scans, mammograms, and 3T MRIs. Laboratory, including our new same-day COVID-19 PCR testing, rehabilitation, and other services, has also been adjusted. Doctors Hospital is here to serve you with the same quality and care that you've come to expect, even as we enter a new normal. Now, more than ever, Doctors Hospital continues to be trusted and best care now. Isn't your health worth it?
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. It is our pleasure to be with you on this Friday morning. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
And I'm Philip Simon.
And we're grateful that you're still with us throughout the first half of the show. It has been quite interesting so far. Great conversation for me there with Alive, learning about some of the things that they're doing to try to help us during these tough economic times. But of course, Phil, you got to talk with the man himself about the tough economic times. How was that conversation?
Well, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot to digest. Obviously, the economy has been challenged now for, well, many years, but certainly severely challenged over the last, I would say, 13, 14 months or so. So we have a long way to go. The one thing that we do know is that the government, despite its responsibility, cannot do it all alone. And so this concept of, you know, having input from the private sector, developing PPPs, you know, encouraging those who have the capacity amongst us to contribute is a significant thing. And I think it's the only way that we're going to really kind of get back to, well, and beyond where we used to be in this new normal.
Yeah. Well, I'm always prayerful and always hopeful. And I think that we did have quite a bit of engagement on this particular policy. And so I'm just hopeful that it won't sit on a desk again, as Marlon indicated, but be very actively engaged and yet fluid and flexible, adaptable to whatever is coming next, and that we're willing to do the work necessary to see it come to pass. But we've got more to come in the second half of the show, and we're very excited about it. Going to be talking with Hubert Edwards. He has so many titles, and now he gets to add author to one of them. He has written a book, and he's going to be sharing that book with us this morning.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that conversation. The BBF, the Bahamas Basketball Federation, will tell us about the upcoming FIBA, that's the American Cup qualifiers, still playing ball and all of this. And of course, speaking of Bookstar, you're being a little humble now, a little Birdie, our producer, told me that you have a book on Amazon right now. Star, you've been busy over the last several months, no pun intended, cruise, etc. But you certainly, listen, lady, come on now. Where are you finding all this time?
Well, Phil, this book has actually been several years in the making. I started writing it years ago when I went to give a talk to some of the young girls over at one of our children's homes. And I wanted to be able to leave them with something that they could do. So I gave them a little journal that they could write in and kind of just shared some experiences from high school using the letters of the alphabet to give them some encouragement as they went back to school. And after I left that session, I realized that I really should turn it into a book. Well, life happens. And I think one of the things that we as Bahamians tend to do especially is to kind of not think that our stories are important or worth sharing. And I've had to kind of come to the new mindset that no, we really ought to tell more of our stories because it's how we help each other, it's how we learn, and it's how we grow. So in the past few months as COVID was happening and I was pregnant and I was just dealing with so many emotions associated with that, I decided that I would take all of that and turn it into a book itself, refresh the idea, refresh the concept. And journaling really helped me during that period. And I thought, well, if I could just kind of put some questions in here so that people can start to journal themselves, they can begin to rediscover who they are, rediscover the importance of their stories and sharing them. So I wrote A to Z to the Best Me. That's what it's called. And as you indicated, it's on Amazon, but it's also available in Nassau locally at Cafe Channing Noel. So people can go there and get it. And it's also available on Amazon Kindle. So you don't have to have the hard copy if you don't want to. You can also get it digitally on your phones.
Excellent. So it's to talk a little bit about what's in the interior of the book. So the A to Z to the Best of Me, it's a devotional for anybody, for women, for children, for men.
What I made the mistake of is putting, and I actually thought we took this off, so I need to speak with my editor on it. It says for women on the title, but I think that it's because of the way I've written it, and whenever I communicate, I really try to do so as plainly as possible so that everyone has the opportunity to understand what it is that I'm trying to share. And so it actually can be done in a family style setting, husbands, wives, children, because none of the information in there is too outlandish that it's not for kids. So it's very, very PG. And it is predominantly, I think women would enjoy it just because I'm a woman and the stories that I share are so personal that I think women could relate, but it's open to anyone. And the devotional is on the title, but it's really more of a reflection because I share things, but I really ask you questions because I want you to start to dig into things that matter to you, right? And that's why the title is A to Z to the Best Me, because I want us to start to reflect on mindset, Phil. What do we think? Because so much of what we think controls our day, and so much of what we think has been put onto us as children and we're not even aware of it. And so I want us to be able to just push past some of the internal trauma that we have, some of the generational beliefs that we have, and to push ourselves to the next level of being. And so as a result of that, the books really ask you to answer some questions so that you can take yourself to the next level.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, when you start, talking about asking questions, it's always easy to ask somebody else a question, but once you start digging into flipping that script and asking personal questions about yourself, not everybody is willing to face that reality at times, but listen, that's great stuff, man. Excellent stuff. Again, where can people kind of get this book out? I need my signed copy, by the way, but where can people get the book once again?
Yeah, so the book is available on Amazon. It's A to Z to the Best Me. And of course, the author is Anastasia Palacios. So if you search my name, you should be able to find the book. And you can also get it from Amazon in hard copy. And so they'll send you a hard copy, or you can get it through Kindle, which is with the Kindle app on your tablet or on your smartphone. And then if you are in Nassau, you can purchase it from Cafe Channing Noel, which is located right out here on West Bay Street in the Caves Village. And finally, you can go to the website, www.a2ztothebestme.com, and all of the details are listed there. But it would be a pleasure to have all of you read it. Certainly poured a lot of love into it, and just hopeful that it will help us to continue on this journey of transformation. As Phil indicated, it takes so much more than our government to make changes. It really takes us as people being the best version of ourselves so that we can commit to our development and the development of the nation. So hopeful that you'll pick it up, hopeful that you'll read it, that you'll do the work inside and just become the best version of you possible.
Well, listen, Star, once again, congratulations. It took the producer to kind of pull this out of you live on Bahamas at Sunrise, being so humble about it. Listen, congratulations, man. Very proud of you.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. Well, listen, with that, we're going to take our second look with the man himself, Godfrey Burnside. Another beautiful lockdown weekend, it seems, Godfrey.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Phil, and good morning, Bahamas. In your second look at weather at sunrise, we look at the tropics, and we do have a large area of disturbed weather in the vicinity of the Left Antilles. It's associated with a tropical wave. The system could form into a tropical depression over the weekend or early next week. This system has a 70% chance of development over the next 5 days. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 5 days. On the local scene, high-pressure ridge will slide eastward, and that will make for a formal boundary to approach the extreme northwest Bahamas by tonight with increasing cloudiness and showers as a tropical wave will move across the southeastern islands during the day into the weekend, and that will generate some unsettled weather over that area. We do expect a second and stronger cold front which on Monday and bring back some cooler temperatures for next week. In the marine forecast today, winds southerly at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet in northwest Bahamas, easterly at 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday, those winds northeast to east at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, so the winds will start increasing by nighttime 15 to 20 knots, seas building 4 to 6 feet. On Sunday, those winds northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet in northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 7:47 this morning. The next low tide will be at 2:05 this afternoon. High again this evening at 8 p.m. Sunset, 6:31 this evening. Rises at 7:17. UV index 9. Your water temperature 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And your moon phase now moving towards the full moon. As we go through the weekend, we expect partly cloudy with some showers tomorrow as frontal boundary moves into the extreme northwest Bahamas, and then by Sunday stalling across the area just north of New Providence. We're looking at some more showers and isolated thunderstorms. A second and stronger front will move through on Monday, and that'll bring back some strong winds to the islands with some showers and thunderstorms. So temperature daytime over the weekend will be in the upper 80s and mid-70s nighttime. After the front passes, we expect to go into the low 80s at daytime and the lower 70s at nighttime. That puts a wrap in your front look at weather at sunrise. I'm glad to go inside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. And thanks to you for staying with us. You're going to love our next segment. From Benin to Jamaica, here to the Bahamas, our next guest, Hubert Edwards, brings a wonderful collection of original poems that take you on a journey across the landscape of an active mind, seasoned with the essence of ancestral connections. Well, his shirt says enough about that this morning. We're so happy to welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise, Hubert Edwards. Good morning, HE.
Thank you so much for having me, Anastasia. It's certainly a pleasure to be here, and let me take this opportunity right up front to say congratulations on your new book also. It's always good to see persons out there doing things, and we don't always say it, but for the persons who are, within that circle, whether it's directly or indirectly, we draw inspiration from everyone. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, H. I really do appreciate that. And I just appreciate what you've been for us as a society, really emerging as a thought leader and someone to help us to think deeper, to pursue purpose more intently, and just to really embrace our connections to our ancestral lands. So talk to me now about Whispers of a Country Boy. It's described as a personal expose. How does the book tell your story?
When you go through the book, Anastasia, you're going to discover, as much as you would have been aware of HE, howsoever another person may know me, you're going to discover aspects of me which you just never either saw or thought about. The book is personal from one perspective, in that I dealt with a lot of issues around family, especially my mother and father, brothers and sisters, friends. Dealt with in there. But from another level, it is a reflection of some emotional turmoil that I would have gone through at different times. And I would have taken those things and put the most positive spin I can on them in some instances. In other instances, I left them like totally raw. There's one there which I think is referred to as angry. Which have it kind of chronicle my situation from the time I came here to the Bahamas up to as recent as 2018. But what I am so much, I guess, proud of in terms of my own development is that when you go through that poem, you will notice that in the end, it ends on the idea of love. And that is kind of a representation of my own personal growth to be able to be down in the dumps and to deal with these situations, but at the end of the day, recognize that without love and forgiveness and without seeking to be your best human self, you're not going anywhere. And I think that's one of the things that, persons may be able to take from the book.
Yeah, I agree. It's powerful. And I think you and I are on one accord in this because we recognize that we need to challenge generational norms, to challenge the ideas that men don't speak about emotion, to challenge the notion that we don't talk about things that might have gone wrong in our families, but we have to be able to speak to these things because we can't get better until we acknowledge some of the things that you talked about. And so I'm grateful for the themes that I see emerging there. Things like anger, but things like hope, things like love, and things like family. And so it really sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal book. But I'm sure there are people who would have asked you, Hubert, you are a brilliant financial mind. You're an excellent leader. You talk about leadership. Why write a book of poetry on these things rather than a book on leadership or finance? What do you say to that?
I say, why not write both? and so I think we need to come to a recognition that we're complex beings. Too many times, and this happened to me quite a bit because I seem to dabble in many things. Person asks me, why are you doing so many things? The fact of the matter is that there is always another side of you crying out for expression. And if that is crying out for expression, you should give it expression. And so these poems, in many instances, go back many, many years. I have done, doodled, written down stuff. I've been in meetings when the individual just totally need to be tuned out, and I spend the next, 20 minutes writing a poem. Those situations like those. I've been to work, I've been to meetings, I've come back, and somebody just totally rub you wrong, right? And you spend the time journaling. I journal a lot. If you look behind me, right here is my journal section. I have a lot of journals. And so I've taken some of these things and I've turned them into poems. But as you mentioned, I'm currently working on a book. It's a leadership book. It's called Ubuntu Leadership. I think it will be called Ubuntu Leadership. And I've also worked on, over the last 6 months or so, 2 others, which are going to be titled, Think, Act, and Grow, Thinking Without Boundaries. And so it's, there are many sides to HE. I don't pretend to be a very complex person. I'm very simple and straightforward, if you understand me, but I like to give expression to the things that I'm capable of doing.
I think that's awesome. Really sets an example, I think, for manhood, right? And the culture and the idea that expression is necessary, not just in one way, but in all ways so that we can see the full human spirit grow. So how can people get a copy of Whispers of a Country Boy?
Well, Whispers of a Country Boy, I have physical copies, which I'm selling. I've become a book salesman. And I kind of really enjoy the experience of kind of running around Nassau a little bit and delivering books to persons and getting their feedback. So you can contact me directly, 376-8951. You can find me on social media or just about any place in New Providence. It's not hard to find HE. But also you can go to Amazon and you will be able to access the Kindle copy. It's there, and I am hoping that persons will partake in that, will share it, will read it, and will get some level of inspiration. I think I want persons to walk away more being inspired, even though they may be getting some understanding of what a simple, complex mind may look like. But at the end of the day, it is my gift to you to say, there is more to you than persons see on a day-to-day basis. Express yourself, talk about your family, talk about your ups, but more importantly, confront your downs, because there are other persons out there who can benefit from you dealing with those things.
HE, have you to speak with someone truly exemplified, leadership skills just by producing this book and sharing yourself with us in this way. And I'm hopeful that people will read it, will be inspired to do the same, because our stories matter. And I'm so grateful that we get to read yours. Thanks again for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Certainly a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Always a pleasure to be at Bahamas at Sunrise. I want to give a quick shout out to Joan Albright, who has always been a great supporter for many years since I've been in this country. So again, all the best with your book, and we look forward to creating and doing things together. See you in the future.
We do. I'll be speaking with Hubert Edwards at his upcoming summit in December, so you'll hear more about that as the time comes. But we'll be back with more Bahamas at Sunrise right after this commercial break.
Thank you.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
Welcome back to the show. The Bahamas Basketball Federation, the BBF, is getting ready to compete at the FIBA AmeriCup 2022 qualifiers at the end of November, and they're going to be squaring off against Puerto Rico. Here to talk with us is the coach himself, also the president of the BBF, Mario Boleg. Welcome back to the show, my brother. Good to see you.
Morning. Good. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I think the last time we spoke, or the last time you were here, was earlier in February, well, at the beginning of the year, I think. But again, you had a great game in February against Mexico. What kind of game do you think will be needed to defeat Puerto Rico, man? They're right up there.
Yeah, what you know right now as it relates as the ranking inside the Pool D in the Americas, the United States is one, the Bahamas sitting in second based on win-loss record, followed by Mexico, and then Puerto Rico is in fourth place, but you know, it's like in the NBA, not because they're in fourth place mean that they're the fourth place team. Okay. So their first two games was a loss against the United States. But I personally believe that we got what it takes. And history has shown that normally when we play Puerto Rico, it's a tough fight, fought game. So I think we're going to be there. They're in the home crowd. The good thing is being a bubble, so they have no fans. So we got to be ready to play, and so are they.
Okay. All right. Well, talk a little bit about that format then. So it's like a bubble format, similar to what we saw with the NBA over the last several months. How is that going to work? I mean, how is the FIBA Cup, AmeriCup going to be played?
Well, moving forward for the next two windows, which is this one in November and the other in February, they decided that they would move into the bubble until we get this pandemic under control worldwide. Because of most of the teams played, remember, we had FIBA America, Asia, Europe, Africa, so China. So all of those areas are impacted by COVID-19. So the idea is to have a bubble where there are 4 teams played in that bubble. So some of the protocols, we got to take at least 3 tests prior to entering the bubble and 3 tests while we're in the bubble. So that's to make sure that no one catch COVID, and we try to keep the players, coaches, staffs, and everybody safe. So it's a facility in a hotel that they will close off to that. Hopefully we'll do the same here in February in Bahamas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, excellent. So when we talk about these AmeriCup 2022 qualifiers, I mean, what kind of championship is this?
Well, this is the first leg for the Olympic 2024. Okay. So qualifying from here, the Bahamas can qualify, finish in the top 3. There's 4 teams in the pool. Once we finish in the top 3, we go to the America's Cup, which will be played in 2021. From there, then you go into the World Cup qualifiers in 2022, which will run you into 23 for the World Championship Games. Then the top 16 team with that will move on to the Olympic Games.
Okay, we're far removed from February, man. It's been a couple of months of very different times, right? I mean, so what has been happening? Have the guys been playing? I mean, you know, you're jumping right back into it.
Yeah, some of the guys have gone back to their professional leagues, Japan, France, Belize, Brazil. However, the leagues are beginning to take a little halt right now because of the increase of the virus in some of the areas. And they're not playing in the bubble, so they're stopping play right now. But at the end of the day, majority of our players are still active wherever they are because they have access to the gym. Unfortunately, the ones here in the Bahamas, we've been, I wouldn't use the word denied, but I've been hold off a bit. But we have made our application to use the gym effective as of November 2nd. So I think that should come into effect. I've got an email last night that I will have to respond to them on some of the protocols that we will put in place, and some of the ones that FIBA, the World Basketball Federation, demand that we put in place prior to starting practice. So I think we have 5 weeks before our competition. I think we'd be fine.
Well, talk a little bit about, I mean, 5 weeks is, it might seem like a lot of time, but it really isn't. You're trying to put together this A-list squad. I mean, you know, who are you looking to get? Well,
we are in discussion with both DeAndre Ayton and Buddy Hield because the NBA is closed right now. So because it's off season, hopefully that they got the permission from the NBA to play because the United States is going to be using their G League team. Let's not forget, we play in United States on the 29th November and then Puerto Rico on the 30th. And so with him, Travis Munnings, even Lou Rawls, Tom Nen, these are some of the guys that we're going, David Nesbitt, you know, Kenton Smith. I think we're trying to put together our A team for this window. Provided once Buddy them is in it, it become the A team. If not, then, you know, we'll be back to our B+. And so we think we'll fare pretty well with that group.
Yeah, I tell you, but listen, if we could ever pull all of those guys together at one time, man, we are right up there with the best in the world. Of course, the NBA is talking about an early opening possibly in December. So we got to see how all of these things go.
Right.
You know, almost there. Is there additional support? You talk about the gyms, you're talking about practice and the rest of that. I mean, what else is needed and what type of support would you need, like from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, the government, even the private sector?
Well, funding is definitely a must. Presently, right now, we have received a grant from which we are very appreciative and thanks for the Olympic Committee for giving us a check of $15,000 just the other day. We request our grant from the government, which is normally $20,000. Based on this economic situation, we don't know what that will be, and also hope that they would give us some extra funding because $80,000, we are far from there. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this is the opportunity for us to get to the Olympic. If we fail at leg 1, there's no chance going any further. So I think all the financial support and the support we can get, not only financially, but morally, also from the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and the government to understand that even though this is a tough times, at the end of the day, you know, there's always a sunshine after the rain. And you have to look for that day when the sun will shine. So we have to, you know, make sure we assist these federations and sporting clubs that has the opportunity to put us on a stage where we've never been before. And so definitely we hope that corporate sponsors will come on board along with the government and assist us and make sure that this trip becomes possible because the guys wants to feel taken care of and feel comfortable and relaxed. They don't want to be in somewhere where we have to be scrapping funds and wondering where they're going to lay their head and they're not going to play comfortably. And, you know, again, this is the country team, not the federation team. So we would want all the support from the entire country.
All right, great. And how can persons, I mean, who might be listening, how can they give support? I mean, do they reach out to you? I mean,
yeah, they can reach out to me. You can send an email to me at president.bbf@outlook.com, or you can give me a shout at 810-2355 if you're interested in giving any donation towards the Federation on making sure the senior men's national team make it to Puerto Rico and have an opportunity to defeat the United States and Puerto Rico and move on to February again, where we will come home and hope to set that bubble up where we will play these 2 teams again and have a chance to move on to the second round.
And then eventually to the Olympics. Coach, listen, thank you so much for being here once again on Bahamas at Sunrise. Coach Mario Boleg, president of the Bahamas Basketball Federation. You're watching Bahamas.
Thanks for having me.
Very much welcome. We'll be right back.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months, with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into Bahamas at Sunrise today. We hope that you enjoyed the show.
Yes, definitely. Very informative as usual. I love being up with you, not early, but with you.
Yeah, Phil, I think I will admit that I am very tired today. I'm hoping the audience cannot see it and feel it as much as I feel it. But today is one of those days when you're just grateful that you love what you do, because if you didn't, it would be very hard to do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Grateful indeed, TGIF. Listen, we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend doing whatever it is that you won't be doing.
Phil, I don't want to go down that path. I was talking to Hubert Edwards. We had a lot of positive energy going, so I just want to leave that positive energy in the space. Certainly, I hope it lasts me for the weekend when I'm locked in with these kids.
Great weekend, and we'll see you guys again real soon.
Bye.